Sometime this week, you will likely pour a drink, a glass of wine, a cold beer, a heavy cocktail at a noisy bar. You'll raise it to your lips, swallow, and wait for that familiar, warm dismantling of your higher nervous system. You think of it as culture, as a reward for a long day, a purely human invention. But you are lying to yourself. That glass in your hand isn't a luxury. It is an ancient biological tether to a time when your ancestors were starving to death. For the vast majority of our existence, the concept of a brewery did not exist. The world was brutal, calorie-poor, and endlessly competitive. 10 million years ago, our early primate ancestors lived in the dense canopies of the African rainforest. They survived on fresh fruit. But the climate was changing. The planet cooled. The forest began to shrink. Suddenly, the canopy wasn't enough. Our ancestors were forced to do something terrifying. They had to come down to the forest floor. And on that floor, they found fruit that had fallen from the trees, broken, bruised, and rotting. Normally, rotting food is a biological red flag. It is crawling with bacteria. It is a sign of decay. But yeast had gotten there first. The microscopic yeast was eating the sugar in the fruit and excreting a very specific chemical waste product. Ethanol. Ethanol is a poison. If a normal mammal eats too much of it, their motor functions collapse. They become clumsy. They become easy prey. But that is only half the story, because ethanol also carries a massive evolutionary advantage. It acts as an olfactory beacon in a dense jungle, signaling exactly where the food is. And more importantly, it has nearly double the calories of standard carbohydrates. In 2014, geneticists traced the evolutionary history of a specific digestive enzyme called ADH4. This is the enzyme in your throat and stomach that metabolizes alcohol. They discovered something that completely shattered our understanding of human history. Roughly 10 million years ago, right when our ancestors were forced onto the forest floor, the ADH4 gene underwent a single random mutation. Suddenly, it became 40 times more efficient at breaking down ethanol. 40 times. This wasn't an accident. It was a lifeline. The primates that possessed this mutation could eat the rotting, fermented fruit without dying from alcohol poisoning. They got a massive dose of calories that the unmutated monkeys couldn't touch. They survived. They reproduced. We are their descendants. Your ability to drink alcohol is not a cultural quirk. It is the genetic scar of a mass starvation event. And honestly, what comes next is even stranger. Because for millions of years, we just scavenged this low-level neurotoxin wherever we could find it. We followed the scent of ethanol through the trees like bloodhounds. But then, human beings got smart. We didn't just want to find the rotting fruit. We wanted to manufacture the rot. In the late 1990s, archaeologists in Turkey unearthed Göbekli Tepe. It is a massive, incredibly complex stone temple. It is over 11,000 years old. It predates the wheel. It predates writing. It predates agriculture. These were hunter-gatherers. They shouldn't have been able to build a permanent temple. They were supposed to be constantly on the move. But in the center of these ruins, researchers found massive stone vats capable of holding 40 gallons of liquid. Residue inside the vats revealed their purpose: beer. This flips the entire script of human civilization on its head. We always assumed that humans settled down, invented farming to bake bread, and then eventually stumbled upon brewing as a byproduct. The evidence now suggests the exact opposite. Our ancestors didn't settle down to grow food, they settled down to brew poison. The agricultural revolution, the foundation of every city, war, and empire in human history, may have been entirely driven by our desperate 10-million-year-old biological obsession with ethanol. We didn't invent alcohol. Alcohol domesticated us. Look at the world around you. The sprawling fields of wheat, the endless vineyards, the global shipping routes and supply chains crossing the oceans. A vast percentage of our planetary infrastructure is dedicated solely to the controlled rotting of plant matter. We are feeding the yeast. We are guarding the vats. We are doing exactly what that mutation programmed us to do 10 million years ago on a dying forest floor. So tonight, when you pour that glass, when you take that first sip and feel the chemicals seep into your bloodstream, do not think of it as a sophisticated escape from the modern world. You are just an ape in a concrete jungle, successfully tricking your body into thinking it has survived another day.